The stars didn't just create Earth. They almost destroyed it. But something else stopped that from happening. Human life exists in the universe not because the sun is perfect, but because Jupiter failed to become something greater. If, for 0.6 billion years ago, Jupiter had grown just a little differently, if it had become about 80 times more massive, it wouldn't be a planet anymore. It would have ignited nuclear fusion, becoming a second sun in our solar system. And if that had happened, Earth would never exist. No blue planet, no oceans, no life, no humans. So the fact that you can look up at the night sky today isn't just luck. It's because one planet didn't become what it could have been. To understand this, we go back 4.6 billion years to the birth of the solar system. Back then, it wasn't the stable system we see today. It was a chaotic cloud of gas, dust, and violent collisions, a collapsing nebula forming under gravity. In one of the densest regions, Jupiter began to form. It had access to enormous amounts of hydrogen and helium, the same raw materials that form stars. So Jupiter grew fast. It started pulling in surrounding gas, its gravity becoming stronger and stronger. For a moment, it almost went out of control. If it had reached about 80 times its current mass, its core would have become hot and dense enough to trigger nuclear fusion. At that point, Jupiter would no longer be a planet. It would become a star, a second sun in our solar system. But that never happened. There's one simple reason: the sun. The sun contains about 99.86% of the total mass of the solar system. This gravity dominated everything. As the sun ignited nuclear fusion, it released powerful solar winds that cleared out the remaining gas. Jupiter's growth was cut off. It was trapped in an in-between state, too large to be a typical planet, but too small to become a star. A failed star, some might say, but this so-called failure changed everything. Jupiter became the protector of the solar system. Its massive gravity acts like a shield. It pulls in or deflects comets and asteroids that might otherwise hit the inner planets. One famous example is Comet Shoemaker-Levy 9 in 1994, which was torn apart and absorbed by Jupiter. The impact released energy equal to millions of nuclear bombs. If Earth had taken that hit instead, the consequences would have been catastrophic. And if Jupiter had actually become a second sun, the solar system would be unstable. Multiple stars would distort planetary orbits. Inner planets could be thrown into deep space. Earth's orbit would likely never remain stable long enough for life to exist. In most multi-star systems, stable, habitable planets are extremely rare. So in that scenario, humanity would almost certainly never exist. Jupiter was never meant to be the center of the story. It doesn't shine like a star. It doesn't support life. It doesn't warm the Earth. But without it, the story of life might have never begun at all. In the universe,